Hello everyone and welcome to a baby metal costume how-to video, which is the costume I wore when I saw them at Wembley. So I will link everything down below that I bought, and please comment down below if you have any questions because I will reply. Let's get into it. What you will need is some silver fabric, black lacy floral fabric, and the same for red. I didn't actually use the plain red fabric, and a wet look leotard. And for the underneath tutu, I used this one which I got from Amazon. I'll link everything I bought down below, and this is the tutu to go over the top just to make it look more sort of seamless with no lumps and bumps. So yes, that's that one. So first you need to use the silver fabric to measure it on your chest just to see how much you would need, and I sort of went down just below my waist. And then cut that out, and then you want to measure the black lacy fabric over the top, which then you will sew together. You can use any sort of black floral fabric really. This is just the one that they had in my local fabric shop. And then use a sewing machine to sew that together. Next you want to pin and tack it onto your leotard. My sewing machine actually broke, so I hand sewed it in the end. I used this technique in this diagram. And maybe just go back on yourself a few times just to make sure it's really secure. And here's the front finished. Next I'm doing the sleeves, and take your red lacy fabric and pleat it around the arm of your leotard just to make sure you've got the right length for when you sew it together. I'm pleating it because that's how it looks on their costume. Then lay it out flat and cut a sort of a semicircle through the fabric. You could have just done it in half because it would have been a lot quicker, but I didn't even think about it. But it did turn out quite symmetrical, which I'm pretty proud of. Use the one you just done for the other arm, and then cut it out around that one like a template. The next layer is this fine netting material, which is actually a tutu I ordered which I didn't use. So I cut that and I teared it apart. So I'm just using it again as the template and cutting around it. Do the same for the silver material. I made the both red materials a bit longer or sort of wider than the silver one, so it comes out a little bit more when it's on your arm. So now you've got to put all these three layers together. Lay that down. That one doesn't matter what order it is as long as the silver one is on top. Then pleat and pin it together. This just gives it more volume when it's on your arm, so it sticks out a bit more and doesn't go straight down. So this is what it looks like, which is pretty cool. That's the effect they have it on their own costume, so I just copied it. So then just double check that you've got the right amount, put it on the arm, and I did. And then just tack it together. And then remove the pins. Now you've got to pin and tack it onto the sleeve of your leotard. A lot of pin and tacking in this, but that's what costume making is all about. As you can see, I left a gap sort of in the armpit area, just so it doesn't irritate you while you're wearing it. Here I am tacking it into place, and then you got to hand sew it. Just using that same technique that I showed in the diagram earlier. Go back on yourself as well, just to make sure it's very secure, and just do whatever you're happy with, just make sure it is secure. So here's the finished look of the sleeve. You can put as many layers as you want on it really, the more the better. So next is the braiding. This is some gold glittery braiding I got from my fabric shop. And then you want to have it down both sides of the silver material and then across the middle. So I'm just doing just below my waist because your tutu will come up on your waist, so it will cover up the ends. Then pin and tack it and then hand sew it. So this is the finished top half of the costume, and I've got to say with the leotard you want sort of poppers at the end of the leotard, just so it's easy for you to go to the toilet, to be honest, and it's just a lot easier for you to take it off. It would be a nightmare if you had to take off the whole thing, so that just makes it easier for you. Next I'm doing the collar. I'm sort of making my own black braiding, but you can buy it yourself. I'm just sort of bunching it and pleating it and then pinning it together. So it's just the black lace from before. So just bunching it all together and then pinning it. It just gives it that sort of lacy effect that they have on their costume. I've sewn it onto this sort of red elastic material, which is the elastic from the tutu that I've torn up. So that made a good use for it. And now I'm just sewing it onto the leotard. So here is the collar finished, and that looks pretty cool. For the material around your waist, I used, it's actually the silver material, but on the other side it's really shiny and black. So I just pleated it around the underneath tutu while I still had it on and safety pinned it, sort of pleating as I went along. And I did get someone to help me. I actually did it on the day that I wore the costume. I put the other tutu over the top and then pulled that black fabric through. Then I safety pinned the end together. The glove I wore is actually one from eBay, which I'll link below. And for the hair I used the silver, the tutu material and the red scrunchie. And the shoes are just these black high tops, and then I used the long black knee-high socks. And here is the completed costume. I really hope you enjoyed it. I did get a lot of compliments about the costume on the Wembley show. Please leave a comment down below if you've got any questions. I will reply to you. I reply to all my comments. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching everyone. Good luck and see you!